Well, I'm talking about liquid. Rich enough to have your own jet. Rich enough not to waste time. Well, in my book, you either do it right or you get eliminated. They're analysts. They don't know preferred stock from livestock, all right? The new law of evolution in corporate America seems to be survival of the unfittest.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a beautiful Thursday night, March 29th, 2012. I am your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Mr. Kopp.
Hey, STT, how are you?
I'm fantastic, sir. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great.
That's good to hear. Also, joining me on the program tonight, I have Sifakia.
Aloha, STT. Kopp, how you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Great. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing good. Excited.
That's good to hear. Yes, a very exciting interview for everybody tonight. So I am not going to waste anybody's time. I'm going to throw it right over to Mr. Kopp. Mr. Kopp, take it away, sir.
Thanks, STT. We're here with Ms. Roxana Weber, the CEO of MPIX Inc., stock ticker MPIX. She is also joined by Mr. Denny Diante, the new president of Emax Media Group. Welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for coming back on, Rox, and welcome, Mr. Diante. It's a pleasure to have you. What I'd like to do first, we're happy to have you. What I would like to do first, to save you from having to go through too much of the history, I think it's very important for our listeners to understand exactly what your background is, Mr. Diante, and where you're coming from, because it's quite impressive, and I think it's important. So I'm just going to, today's press release was dated March 29, 2012 by MPIX, MPIX. And what I'm going to refer to is the About Denny Diante section. And Mr. Diante initially broke into the music business with surf bands in the 60s, the Sentinels and the Cornells. And as a solo artist on Holiday Records, Denny Diante developed his production skills at Gold Star Recording Studios in Los Angeles. In 1968, he then became West Coast director of Pure Southern Music, one of the largest music publishing companies in the world. In 1972, Denny was recruited by Mike Stewart, the president of United Artists Records, to join their A&R department and produce their biggest artists. He produced a string of hits by Paul Anka, Ike and Tina Turner, Maxine Nightingale, The Grateful Dead, and produced the Bob Weir group Kingfish. After a successful run at UA, he then joined RCA and Wingsong Records, the John Denver and Jerry Weintraub-owned label, where he was a vice president of A&R and produced such artists as Maxine Nightingale, Starland Vocal Band, and Cocky. In 1980, Mr. Stewart once again reached out to Denny with the opportunity to join him as vice president at CBS Songs. After helping Mike successfully change April Blackwood Music, CBS Music Publishing Division, into CBS Songs, then he was promoted to Vice President of A&R of Columbia Records Division, where he went on to produce such legendary artists as Barbra Streisand, Neil Diamond, Johnny Mathis, Bill Withers, Denise Williams, Julio Iglesias, and the list goes on. In 1989, Denny moved to MCA Records as Vice President A&R and Executive Producer, where he achieved numerous successes as the only staff executive and producer. While at MCA, he produced and worked with such artists as B.B. King, Glenn Frey, Boston, Sheena Easton, Bobby Brown, and brought to the label Comptown Records with co-founder Eazy-E of NWA. After leaving MCA and the corporate environs, in 1997, he co-founded Out West Entertainment, a record and film production company focusing on country music and releasing historical recordings. In 1999, he started Pipeline Music, Inc., controlling the largest classical music archive in the world. In 2005, Denny decided to renew his first love of studio work and has begun producing again many new and established artists. He has since started both DD Productions, Inc., Jukebox Music Productions, LLC, and his own labels, their original Holiday Records and Touch One Records. He is well known and respected throughout the recording industry During his career, Mr. Deontay has produced such distinguished artists as Barbra Streisand, B.B. King, Elton John, Grateful Dead, Bobby Brown, Neil Diamond, Boston, Johnny Mathis, T.G. Shepherd, Sheena Easton, Paul Anka, Ike and Tina Turner, Merle Haggard, Jerry Lee Lewis and the Oak Ridge Boys, and B.J. Thomas, just to mention a few. In addition, he has amassed many production credits in television and film. Overall, he has produced 26 gold albums and 8 multi-platinum albums, has received 3 Grammys, a Cable Ace Award, an Academy Award nomination, and a Golden Globe Award, ASCAP and BMI Awards, MPIX Awards, and numerous awards for production and arranging in such festivals as the Japan Music Awards, the Festival of Music of France, and received the prestigious award from the Russia Federation as an honorary academician of the Russian Academy of Music. Denny Deontay is listed in Billboard's magazine encyclopedia of the 100 most successful record producers. Denny Deontay has been elected to the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. Denny Deontay is listed as one of the top producers behind the music in the Musician's Handbook, a practical guide of understanding the music industry by Bobby Borg. He has written the forewords in both editions of Richard Schulenberg's Legal Aspects of the Music Industry, published by Billboard Books. Mr. Deontay has taught the class record production and the music industry at UCLA, has lectured how to succeed in the international record industry at the Moscow University, Moscow, Russia. He is mentioned in the book Burt Bacharach, a selected discography, quoted in the book Song by Song, mentioned in the book The Eagles, Hotel California, Solitaire Star, Neil Diamond, Mr. Tambourine Man, The Life and Legend of the Byrds, Gene Clark by John Anderson, acknowledged in this book, How to Have Your Hit Song Published by Jay Warner, published by HLB Publications. Mr. Deontay, absolutely impressive, sir. I mean, that is quite the resume. Welcome to MPIX.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I had to be doing something during all that time, I guess. You know, I just got real busy and kind of was 24/7 in the studio and doing what I love to do. You know, I was kind of like, I guess, born to do it, and found out very early in high school what I wanted to do, and it just took it on and went for it. And, you know, life's been great. I've been married, over 40 years now, and got 3 great kids and a couple of grandkids that are like little guys, 3 and 4 or something. And, I'm just looking I was looking for the next rung on the ladder, and met Roxanne a while ago, and we just talked, and we just decided to just go get it done. I mean, her company just was so exciting to me, and the catalog has just freaked me out. I mean, this is right in my wheelhouse. And we just kind of said, let's do it. And I said, let's do it, and we're doing it. Period. We're on. We're, as we say, we're going to rock and roll all the way down. Isn't that right, Roxana?
It is. Gentlemen, I've had a great fortune of growing up in the music industry with some of the best producers and music publishers in the world, including working with my late husband. But, one of the things that became evident in the past year and a half was the importance of us having someone at the helm that really understands the industry with the longevity of someone like Denny. There are only a few music moguls left in the world, and you're actually speaking to one of them this evening. We've done a great job amassing an incredible music catalog of control over the past 20 years, our founding companies, which is now part of the EMAX media groups of companies, and also obviously owned by MPIX. And I did meet Denny about 2 years ago, and we realized then in a very short time that we needed to come together and not only work together. I knew that he was the right person to help me take this huge music collection of libraries and get it into the market where it's needed to be for a long time. I couldn't ask for a better partner and substantial legendary producer to work with. I mean, I'm ecstatic.
You actually have to understand. I call her boss.
Guys, I want to tell you, last week I've had a lot of people say to me recently that they had a hard time reaching me, or for us to be able to return calls to everybody last week. And the fact of the matter is, we had what we call the EMAX Music Summit last week. Denny was in our offices, and we've expanded more space at Universal because we need it. And some of the other music executives that works with our companies was all here in Orlando. And not only did we have a productive time, we just had a great time because Denny has a great sense of humor. And, it's just fun. And we're in a time in our life right now, all of us, as my late husband used to say, we get to choose who we want to work with and the projects that we want to do, and this is it. I mean, this is definitely showtime for the company. I've kept these libraries really quiet for a long time. But it's time, like Denny said, there's really only two classes of buyers right now for music. It's the baby boomers and the real young ones. And we happen to have tremendous amount of product that the baby boomers are looking for. And we intend to give it to them in the correct manners.
That is absolutely true. 100% true. You knew exactly where to go with this, and when we talked about it, Roxanne asked me what I thought I would do, and it was like we were talking to each other using the same words. It is absolutely true. Everything will be market targeted, and that's the only way you can really succeed in this world today. Because you go out and spend millions of dollars on a new act and just eat it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
But with her catalog and the value of this catalog, which I know so deeply and dearly, I can tell you what was number one in what year and what was the B-side. I mean, it's kind of a sickness that I had because I collect old 45s and I just have this love for the music. It's been my life. And when I went to Orlando and I sat with Rox and we went through everything, and I'm looking at all the contracts and it's like, man, where do I sign on? This is a piece. This to me, it's a piece of cake. I mean, this is like I said before, right in my wheelhouse. I understand it. I've done this before. I did it at UA. I did it at Columbia. MCA with Universal was another story, but it's okay. I used to call them the Music Cemetery of America. So it's they had zero clue what to do until they got there, to be honest with you. And we were number one at MCA for 7 of the 9 years that I was there. And we had a great staff. And just like we're going to do with Emacs and MPIX, we have people that I've been working with and Rox has been working with for the past few years. So smart, so savvy, so cool, so into the internet, knowing what to do, knowing where to go, and how to get it done. And I'm just going to start bringing guys in and aboard and doing little deals here and there just to get them in, and so we can take advantage of their expertise. I mean, YouTube to me is like that's where we're going to start with YouTube, because that's where a lot of bread and butter is, especially for us. So we're developing a whole. It is. It really is. I mean, it's just one thing I expressed to Roxanne, and she really, I'm not quite sure. She was kind of, really? Are you sure? The genre of music that has had the most success on charts are big bands. Believe that or not. And her catalog with big bands is astronomical. So we're coming up with a plan how to utilize that big band, because I got to tell you, swing, big band, it's all coming back. And I can't even tell you about some of the projects we're going to do over the next year, 2 years, and 3 years. Some of it is big band oriented, because we're going to go and we're just going to drive our product just out there, so people can have music that they want, not be thrown down their throat of stuff that they don't want to listen to. I mean, you never know who's playing what. Nobody announces anymore. It's all automatic. People don't want that anymore. They want to know what's going on. So we're going to take big band. We're going to take some of the oldies. We're going to just have new ways of selling this stuff. And I mentioned to you guys before we got on about Pete's Coffee, Starbucks. I mean, we can go right into Starbucks and we can just kick butt with those people. They're going to go, oh my gosh. And it's just knowing how to do it. And thank God, as one gets older, you figure out how to do this a little easier than you did before. And that's all.
The thing I'm most excited about with Denny is that there are some tremendous new production projects that are tributes to legendary recording artists that we have yet to announce. But these tributes fall in every genre of music. Everything from pop and old rock and roll, country, blues, and R&B. And the interesting thing is that as we develop those projects for release, newly produced projects, Emax Media happens to own the legacy, the legendary works of the original artists that we can bundle with the new works. And what that does for our companies is gives us tremendous new products to release and increased revenues and profitabilities on our existing catalogs. I've seen this done in our company previously, where I'll give you an example. Many years ago when the Titanic film was released, we happened to be in our private company the distributor of a film called Return to the Titanic. It was a documentary. And when we were a private concern, I had the company come to us who was distributing that piece, and there was over 1 million copies of that documentary that went out, and it was distributed to Walgreens. It was bundled with the new movie release when the Titanic went to DVD release. So these new direct marketing and co-marketing objectives and marketing plans, we know exactly where to take the product. The last thing that we ever wanted to do with our music library is to haphazardly manufacture product in hopes that we have an outlet or a retail buyer for the product, because that is a kiss of death in our industry. There's no speculation here for our company. With Denny's outlets and relationships, especially with the major labels, who does, in fact, control most of distribution today, those synergistic relationships that he brings with his relationship as president of Emax Media is so exciting. There is no speculation. It is tremendous opportunity of profitability for our companies, both in the success of our projects and the success for profitability in those projects and what it will mean to our companies and to our shareholders. And let alone the fact that Denny is a hoot to work with. We have a great time. And it makes it all worthwhile, guys. You know, I'm very honored that Denny has accepted the appointment. You know, I grew up in this industry with some of the incredible, most respected men in the music industry by hand, teaching me, leading me. And now to have Denny at the forefront of Emax Media, I can't tell you what it means for our companies. So it definitely is a touch of heaven here for all of us.
I can't tell you what it means to me, Roxana. I got to be honest. I got to tell you straight up in front of everybody. I can't tell you how excited I am to do this, and so is my wife, by the way. She's given me marching orders. So it's like, get to Florida now. So you're absolutely right. You know, it's not often you hit it with somebody that's you hit the right chord and it's like so easy, so smooth, and you just know that in your gut. It's like when you cut a great track, you know that you just nailed it. So Rox and I were talking, and we're just throwing ideas around, and what do you think, and this and that, or whatever. It just grew into, let's just do it. I mean, what are we talking about? I'm doing projects. I'm doing this. I'm going to stop all this. I'm just jumping in with both feet, and going to just take this. And we've got all the distribution outlets will be, which already are banging on our door. So it's going to be an exciting time, and I'm grateful to be part of the
Denny has some incredible high-profile projects that he's tied to, and the promotion of that will fall over into the company for our shareholders to be aware of here shortly. Incredible projects. But I want to talk to our shareholders a second and say this. As the chairman of public companies, as I am with MPIX and even Emax Worldwide, the amount of responsibilities that comes across my desk every day keeps my head spinning. From compliance matters to audits, to shareholder relations, it has really kept me from properly managing the growth of Emax Media, and especially the Emax Media division, as it has been deserving of. There's no doubt about that. And many months ago, I realized the most important thing that I could do for our shareholders was to bring the right executive managerial staff into these companies, to let these companies run as they are crying to run, so I can stay focused in the areas that are absolutely as important as anything else, but to bring the right individuals like Denny so the companies can launch and explode as they need to. And I don't have to, be the manager overseeing everything, because hampering that piece, which is our largest asset, which is our media company and its holdings, really has been a mistake. So I am jubilant with what will happen this year. I am jubilant in the fact that Denny brings so many incredible, talented executives from the industries, not just music, film, TV, internet, game development, that are his associates and friends, and colleagues he's worked with forever, that will be a part of our projects and hopefully in the future part of the EMAX family as we go. So all of that is exciting, and it really is keeping me from, it's forcing me to sleep because there's so much for us to do. But I'm so grateful to have the help, especially with Denny and his ideas. That's the exciting part. When you actually see what we're doing, that's the exciting part.
So
we'll give you a little freedom. We'll give you a little freedom there, Roxana.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't think so. You got me scheduled to help to travel over the country this year. What do you mean freedom?
Yes, we got Nashville coming up. That's for sure.
Nashville's next, and we'll keep our shareholders in suspense what those projects are. We'll just give them a little tease, but they're incredibly exciting and very, very exciting for our shareholders. And we hope that every one of our shareholders can be involved some way, shape, or form, even if they just have access to see the projects as they come off the assembly line. That would be the least I would hope that they would have the ability to share with us on.
Great.
The one thing I do want to kind of touch on, and Mr. Deontay, when for a little while, I mean, Rox has talked about the library in the past, and but nobody actually kind of saw it in the sense of what it all is, and the value of it. And I believe last year, Rox, I think you were on, and you basically expounded on the library, how insane it is, in the amount of what you have in the songs and those type of things. Right. Now that you've seen it, Mr. Deontay, and you've been doing this for a very, very long time, how substantial is this?
It's huge. I would say that if I had to throw a number at it, and this is coming from experience of doing this for 40 years, I'd say low end 300 mil. I'd say that it's worth 300 mil in low end just sitting there. It is the largest catalog that I have ever seen. To own, in one spot. It rivals the quality of major labels. And I mean, they're all original, and there's stuff in there that I can't even tell you about yet, because I have to get into it and listen to stuff, and we're going to have remastering and mastering and going through tapes and this and that or whatever. I got to tell you, at this point in my life, I had a couple of choices. One, just do movies, do projects, whatever I wanted to do. Go to Nashville to record, which I did all summer last year. With the Jamie Johnson Band and the Willie Nelson Band and the Wayne Mills Band and all. I was banned to death last year. But really coming to my senses and really, talking to Roxana and flying into Orlando a couple of times and having meetings and talking. When I looked at this catalog and the breadth of it and the depth of it, I just said, geez, I mean, this is to me is like the gold mine. This to me is the gold mine. It is the musical gold mine. And I felt the same way as when I went to Russia and discovered this huge archive of classical music. But, classical music I had no clue about. I didn't know who Rostropovich was or Shostakovich. They were all the Itch brothers to me. I had no idea, but I knew what it was worth. Sorry about that, but, hey, it's rock and roll, But when I was actually witnessing and looking at the contracts and looking at the titles and the stuff that I've known for years, but also new stuff by bands that are even much later in life, man, I was kind of looking at the concept of doing the projects that I'm bringing to EMAX, which I mean, the upsell. If we do an oldies based kind of project, like I guess I can mention the Buddy Richie Valens and the Big Bopper project.
You can mention anything you want to, Denny.
Okay. Well, I mean, the upsell to this is the fact that we're going to be piggybacking. We're going to add on a lot of the original masters for sale with the new project, because the new project has historical artists, big new artists. I mean, really big new artists. I can't tell you who the big new artists are, but I will soon. And we're going to have some new artists doing new versions of those songs. So it's really on passing on the legacy of these guys, and then we got 2, 3, and 4 legacies coming down the road. But at the same time, with the catalog, we're going to have upsell all the way down the line with all the masters that we have, and we're going to match, and we're going to have the same genre, the same year. I've already gone through those years, and I've already picked the 20, 30 masters out of the catalog that I want to upsell with the Pass It On project. So I mean, it's going to be our own little, should I dare, Time Life kind of thing, but it's only going to be much hipper, much newer, and much more accessible. And they're going to be new recordings.
A lot more fun, right?
Pardon?
A lot more fun, right?
I'm sorry?
A lot more fun.
Oh, jeez.
We have
lots of fun. I mean, those people are boring anyway. But they just do the same thing. This is not. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. Our stuff is going to be fresh, new, and in the face. And I get excited like I'm going in the studio tomorrow. So it's going to be a great thing. But the catalog is just, as we say in the business, the catalog is definitely retarded. It's so sick and retarded. It's so good. It's everything that you ever want to be. And I just jumped in with 2 feet. I'm going. It's gonna be hard to stop me, Roxana.
I don't want you to stop, Danny. I want the rock and roll to go on forever and ever, and the music to play on forever and ever. You know that.
Okay, you got it.
Now, Mr. Deontay, now that you're part of MindPix and you'll be overseeing all the corporate activities at Emax Media and their music divisions, and you're talking about the projects, you're talking about the catalog, you're talking about the value. How and what do you plan to do to turn that into revenue streams?
Well, the first thing we're going to do, and I might say that I've already pretty much accomplished it, is have a major distribution deal. And that's going to be a huge thing for us. And going to get it out into the marketplace through major distribution all over the world. I'm very plugged into Asia, which they're going to eat this up like you don't believe. Very plugged into Holland, Germany, France, England, and distribution. I have a couple of internet guys I mentioned before that are just, and so Roxana has a couple of guys that are really great too. So we're going to put these guys together and kind of turn them loose and tell them to come up with ideas and thoughts that I don't want to use the word cutting edge. I want to use the word forward thinking. I think forward thinking is much more, it's better for me.
The forward thinking is that he's already brought some very unique technologies in regards to new products that's going in the marketplace, and we're going to be bundling music with the release of those products at the retail level, as an example. There's other projects and events we're doing that will allow us to market and merchandise the music, both in plastic form and digitally. So this is what we were discussing last week, is the marketing schedules and operations for Emax Media, and specifically Emax Records and the new label that Denny will be overseeing, Emax Music. So as we release those products, we'll be announcing formal marketing campaigns and what those marketing outlets are. But Denny is absolutely right. He brings with him tremendous access to the major distribution relationships that an independent label as Emax needs, and he already has them coming with him. So that is probably the biggest asset, coupled with the library asset, that will make Emax Media, the company, very successful financially in revenues. As an independent label, if you don't have distribution, you won't make it successfully.
Sure.
Then he brings all that.
No.
Then he brings that to the company, which is besides his credibility as a legendary producer. All of that is what I'm just ecstatic about. That is what will make, and that's what the library's needed for a long time.
I'm sure the network is absolutely insane. If you don't mind me asking there, Mr. Deontay, I just want to pry a little bit. When you saw the library and you had some time to, kind of be alone and reflect, did you immediately want to call a bunch of people?
He did.
I did.
He had one office while I was in the other one.
It was like what?
We gave him a phone and a chair and said, "Go to it," didn't we, Tony?
That's right. Give me a chair. I'm sitting down because, again, I cannot express maybe I'm just, it's hard to find the real words to describe something that you grew up as a kid on a lot of these records, and then as I became a professional, and I had a lot to do with the records. In fact, Emax owns a lot of stuff that I produced.
That's what
cool,
he kept saying. I produced it.
I forgot about it too, but but you do so much, you just don't focus. I mean, it's so weird. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they brought up the film New York, New York. I said, well, yeah, I think I did that. I think I did that with Liza Minnelli. I think we won a Grammy for it, and I forgot all about it because geez, I mean, okay, it wasn't really on my on my bulletin board there, but when you actually have the opportunity to sit there and touch the pages and look at it, and I physically saw the masters, and I said, this is a lifetime of work that Chuck and Roxana put into. They guarded it with their lives, and they guarded it very intelligently. They didn't send all this stuff out like everybody else does, and they just oh yeah, put it out. Here's put it on some stupid compilation record that doesn't count. No. It's just being very I would like to be very pragmatic about what we do and what we release and how we do it. I guarantee you we will have the very best marketing people in the business. I'm going to steal a couple of guys. Did I say that? Yes. I'm going to steal a couple of guys because I know that they are just way too smart to be what they're doing. And everybody's itching to do something like new and independent. And I think the word independent truly is the attraction for a lot of guys, because I was in the corporate world for so long that, I don't even know. I never wore a tie, but I felt like I had a tie around me because it was, it was that kind of environment. Even though the record business is very, very loose and very relaxed and kicked back, it's still, working for those corporations was really amazing. And I had a 1-hour lesson from William S. Paley prior to his passing that I never forgot. When he brought me up to his office, didn't even know who I was, and said, "Tell me what's going on." And I spent 1 hour with him, and it was probably an hour that I just will always remember. Meeting a guy like William S. Paley, who started CBS, and just how normal of a guy he was, and he dropped a few pearls of wisdom on my head, and he said, being a pragmatist will be very important in your life, in the decisions you make. And I always kept that, and I still do it, and I want to bring that pragmatism to Roxana and MPIX and Emax, because you make fewer mistakes that way. That's for sure. Everything will be thought out. Everything will be talked over. Nothing will be a unilateral decision. And it's one of the things I mentioned to Roxana, because it's her legacy. It's her company. I want to do it right, and I want to do it the best way. And
Danny, I'd like to add to something, if I may.
Sure.
I have been involved with music as you have been from being a young teenager, both as a performer and, recording in sessions and now managing in production. when we, as founding companies, went to acquire these libraries in the 90s, there were several objectives that we had. One, we never wanted to mishandle these masters and put them out in the wrong environments, because it's not just 20 years in our making to acquire up all this and acquire it logistically and correctly in our companies, but where we acquired these recordings of these companies from, those families spent 20 years previous to us accumulating these recordings through the acquisition of companies, through production of these recordings, and through licensing these masters over a long time. So I really have been a caregiver to make sure these recordings have never been improperly mishandled or lost. So with that being said, when we came into the marketplace doing this, we knew that pirating was going to be an issue. It was already going to become an issue, and it has been so bad and so rampant in the industry that so many labels today have now closed their doors throughout the U.S. Nashville, for example, the labels have closed left, right, and center. As an independent label, which we are, we've had to be very cautious, again, never to misstep. So the last thing we ever wanted to do was put our content out in a digital format that we would lose it as well. That's why we've been very methodical about how we will release this content, whom we will release it with, and this relationship with you, Denny, and all the relationships of individuals that you bring with is so valuable, and I cannot be more resounding about this. And here's the piece that I would like the audience to understand. The founders in Emacs Media's biggest concern as objective is always to protect the artist's rights. It's not just the songwriters, but the performers. Denny, you know, as you were in our office looking at, for example, some of the licensing agreements behind some of the recordings, I shared with you that a typical license royalty to the artist, which most of them are no longer with us, like Frank Sinatra or Chet Atkins, for example, but our contracts cost for us to maybe pay them 1.1%. And I said to you that our budgeted number is 9 cents a song. The artist or their estates will receive that from us for every song sold. That is not normal in the industry. It is far beyond what the labels are paying artists, if they pay them at all. We started to make a difference. We will finish to make a difference. And because, Denny, you know, you work with so many still the artists that are major profile artists still today, I want them to know how generous we want to be with them with the re-release of these masters that they might have produced 20, 30 years ago, and any other masters they may license to us in the future. You and I discussed this last week, because that is what Emacs was formed to do, to literally make sure the producers and artists of works gets honest accountability and gets paid equitably. We will do that. There's no question. Emacs will be known for that. So that's the piece that I'm very excited for, because in the industry we will shake it up tremendously. It's not done. It's never been done. We will do it. It's because it's the right thing to do.
And guys, you will never hear that from another label, another company.
No.
It's just a unique philosophy. It's a wonderful business model, and it will attract people to us because we're going to get paid, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just shocking, and I will speak from experience that you can sell 1 million records and they'll pay you for $250,000.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to say, well, where's the rest? And they go, well, audit us. And this is companies that you even work with.
Yeah, well, now for promotion copies, you're not going to get paid. Not with us.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Denny?
Oh, it's a promotion copy. Okay, well, don't promote so much. It's okay. But this is quite a unique. It's a very unique approach, and it will benefit the company, because when artists understand that they're coming to an artist-friendly company,
right,
they flock. Whether it's an old artist or a new artist, And, we're going to build it all. We're going to build it all carefully and a little over time, but we will build it all. And I think Roxanna's, heart is right where it should be in respecting and in paying tribute to the people who made music, who actually made the business what it is today.
And the founders of this company that has been well recognized, my late husband and all the peers that came before him, and the people that he worked with in the industry. They were known for being honorable, worked with integrity, and they were fair. So as a tribute in their legacy and for the purpose of what this company was formed for, we will make sure that it's followed suit all the way through the company in every aspect. And we'll follow suit not just in the music industry, but whether it be film and video or software distribution, the same will be applied to those creators. And we will make sure that they get paid and nothing is stolen along the way.
That's excellent.
We're the guardians.
Absolutely excellent. So where do you go next? What's the next step?
Orlando, for me.
Yeah,
that's my
next
step.
Denny's being relocated here. We just took some more offices at Universal Studios. We're increasing staff there, obviously. We just put some new phone numbers there, which you'll find on our website shortly. We are expanding increased offices in Atlanta currently. We will be opening up larger offices in Nashville. Denny has projects that's taking him all over the country this year, and us, including Nashville next month, that we'll be discussing and disclosing shortly, that are really high celebrity, legendary projects that I'm very excited for. So we'll leave them for the next upcoming press releases, guys. And Denny's email address is on the press releases. Feel free for anyone to communicate with him by email or through the office. And we look forward to a lot of great times and a lot of great music coming out from the companies. That's for sure.
Now, doesn't she sound like a great CEO? Come on. That's my opinion. She does. She really does.
I'll give you a quarter later, Denny.
Okay. No, 50 cents, please. It's gone up. It's my new royalty. I got to tell you, it's impressed me so much the way she handles herself in business and the music. It's just, I'm not going to blow smoke, but I'll blow a little bit of smoke. But it's like somebody you've waited for, and it was just like so easy. Let's shake hands, let's have a mojito, and let's go do it. And it was pretty much that simple. And it wasn't a big stretch for me to do this. And I'm moving. I'm actually going to pick up and move to Orlando.
Yeah. Somewhere
outside of Orlando, and and jump in the middle of this, and I'm just nervous that I haven't started. I want to start now. I've already started, but I want to start now.
I've had the pleasure to work with some of the finest executives in the music industry, but I don't believe I've ever had such an extraordinary opportunity to work with someone like Denny, who's just an incredible producer. It's one thing to be a music executive. It's another thing to be just an incredible, talented music producer. Music is my love. And the body of work of music production that Denny has personally handled, that you read today, Chris, is such a monument of work. I really am honored to work with him, because if we can do just a few years similar of production work like he's done in his 30 years of experience, look out, world. And that's what's needed today. The music world is looking to be shaken up, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it collectively. We're going to do it under the EMAX logo and brand, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the world to finally have the debut of EMAX and the EMAX sound and its products, and that's what our shareholders are going to see next.
If you take a look, that's absolutely correct, Roxanne. If you take a look at, what the movie world is doing. Look, a silent movie won Best Movie of the Year.
Really?
Midnight in Paris, which was a great movie, which I thought, it was so nostalgic.
Yep.
There's a turning point going on in the world. We're in such divide over everything anymore in the whole world. It's such crazy. People are looking for the other old shoe that they had growing up.
That's right.
It's like an old pair of slippers that are comfortable. And we're going to give them old slippers and new slippers at the same time. And it's the focus is going to be as wide as that, and a bunch of stuff thrown in the middle. And I can't talk specifics, but I think you guys are going to be completely, and I know the stockholders will be completely blown away by the quality and the caliber of products that we're going to have coming soon. The projects are just out of this world. I mean, they're unique, and they're target marketed. We're targeting our audience, and we're going to market to that audience. And as far as I'm concerned, you cannot fail.
No.
It's when you don't know where you're going with it that it just falls on its butt. And I don't like that at all. Falling on my butt.
Well, I think, Denny, with your track record of production, I don't think that's even possible for the company. I mean, come on, Boston, The Dead, Barbra Streisand. I mean, Anka.
Yeah, 7 years of Barbara taught me a lot. So there you go. Taught me to duck quick.
I mean, this is absolutely amazing on a lot of levels, and I'm sure, Rox, you can appreciate this. Over time, you do the certain things from a business perspective. You do your objectives and your strategies, and you try to work them. And a lot of people out there, from a shareholder perspective, some of the things that you're talking about as far as the loyalty to artists and those type of things, that's a misunderstood thing. And a lot of people have probably doubted, does the library exist? Does the catalog really exist? Right. Can it be monetized? And all the different opinions that you can possibly imagine. And it has to feel really good right now to have somebody of Mr. Deonte's caliber and expertise. I mean, top 100 in the world in this. Come on here live, and
it's
basically,
a blessing, Chris. It is a blessing.
And,
at a young
everything.
age, I was walked into major record label doors in Nashville, New York, with my late husband. Things I never discussed, and things and places that people only dream of. Our council in Nashville are some of the finest council in the world for entertainment. Still things I've never discussed because, and that's probably been a misconception to shareholders because I've been so quiet, and Denny knows how reserved and protective I have been about our business affairs. But it is because no matter what I've said, it's no one has received it in the respect that it's been deserving of. So, when I had the ability to be acquainted with Denny a couple of years ago, I felt like I was home again because this company, Emax Media's company of holdings, has evolved from that world. It's a global entertainment company that we have aggregated over years, and to have Denny at the helm of this that I have protected and safeguarded, and to bring it to the world with Denny, it really is a blessing to have Denny as the executive producer and the president of this body of companies. It's more than that. There's no words to express it, Chris, actually. I know that my late husband has to be looking down and saying, this is exactly where we need to be. And, Denny knew him, and, the music industry and the level that Denny works in and our founders is a very small group of men. They all know each other. They all respect each other, and to this day. And the gentleman that Denny still works with today, they all knew each other's. And for me, when I get a chance to speak to those gentlemen, as I have, it's quite an honor for me to hear the accolades from those gentlemen of my late husband's past activities, of his integral walk. So they're big shoes that I've had to fill and continue to follow through with. And I'm really honored to have Denny as my partner to walk this walk with me now. There's no words to express it, Chris, to be quite frank.
Well, Chuck was a famous guy. I mean, Chuck was well known and very well respected. I mean, I knew Chuck, and the guy was just one of those. Everybody liked Chuck. It was hi, how are you? And all of a sudden, yeah, we're pals. So yeah, it is big shoes, but I tell you, timing is everything. Timing is everything. And who knew that we would come together a couple of years and come to this point of where, let's just go do it, and we're going to do it. And
that's right.
Guys, I've already sniffed around Europe with this stuff. I've already sniffed around with my guys all over the world and talked to guys about different things and different ideas. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to, step out on that plank. But, the feedback I'm getting from my people from around the world is, when are you going? When are we going to get it? What can we do? And it's really gratifying because, Roxanne, I tell you, and my wife gets crazy about it because I don't really think about what I've done. I'm thinking about what I'm doing right now. And I only have a couple of things up on my wall that, I have a B.B. King Grammy that I have up on there, and then this thing from the Russian thing because I thought it was kind of cool to be in Russia and, doing this thing at, with the Russian archive. I don't personally, sit in that world in the past, and it's great. It's, okay, I did it, great, nice, next. Opportunities like this to work with someone like Roxana and her company and everybody she has and her philosophies and her heart appeal to me. It really appealed to me because, most of the guys in our business, do I call them rats? I don't know. They're not great guys. They're not nice people. It's all business down the line, and, you always got to watch your back, and the politics of a major company, believe me, it's nuts. It's not a place, I spent, 38 years at labels, I don't even know how I did it because I'm a little too upfront with stuff.
Well, I think because you're in the studio so much, you were doing what you do best, which is tremendous production work. And, when you're doing what you love, time just flies by, Denny, as you know.
Yeah. Well, I would do my own stuff, and then I would do the fix-it stuff. Record would come in, and they go, we love the record, but it sounds weird. Go fix it. Okay.
Right.
So you go fix it, and it just, look, everybody's got their slice. God gave everybody a slice. I got my little slice. Mm-hmm. Roxana has her slice. You guys have your slice. Everybody's got their slice, and if you do your slice and you're happy, it's a great life.
Yeah.
That's the way I view what I do. And, I'm just going to do what I do, and with the guidance of Roxana and her people and some of the people that we can bring in to help us do this, I'm like a pig in heaven here. It's like this is where I live. This is what I breathe, and this is what I do. I'm still extremely active in producing records, in Nashville, L.A., New York. And, this just gives me a home for me to focus on and work with somebody I really like, Roxana. I got to be honest, it's just, that's what it is. It's a great relationship. We see eye to eye, and there's no histrionics going on. It's, there's none of that. It's just, let's go do it.
Chris, when we visited last week here with this group of Summit folks, I said to Denny, as we're going into the next years of our lives, what I want for Denny is to have carte blanche to take all of these holdings and literally have a ball with them and benefit by all the years of relationships that he's built, whether it's production or publishing or distribution, and make so much successful prosperity for not only the company but for him personally as the executive and the president of this company, and just have at it. And that's how we're going to go down the road the next few years, just supporting each other with whatever resources we need to have between the companies and within Denny's office to do what he does best. No restraints at all. And that's more exciting to me than anything because, Denny is an artist in his own right. As a producer, when you have no restraints and you can let your creativity and the relationships that you developed be cultivated for the benefit of a project, that's when an individual or a company will see the most success. And that's what we have in front of us as a company, individually and corporately. That's the exciting part more than anything.
Oh no, it's excellent. It really, really is excellent. I think over the course of the next 6 months or whatever timeline, you guys are going to have a lot of fun, And I'll tell you the truth, there, Rox. I wouldn't bet that with your passion that you have for the music side of the house. I mean, that's I'm sure that's your groove pitch and those type of things. And with the running a holding company and all the different avenues that you do, I'm sure that you will find yourself sneaking little by little by little into spend more time with Mr. Deontay in that world, and we'll enjoy that passion of that.
You can count on it.
We only have a few more minutes. Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with that we did not cover, or something you want to expound upon?
I'd like to say something.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Y'all just wait. Y'all just wait for it. Again, I could be a big blabbermouth, but I'm holding back. But I got to tell you, you are not going to believe what's coming down the pike. As soon as Roxanne and I agreed on it, I just got on the phone. I was even calling guys I don't even like. So it's like I'm doing this. What? You're doing what? And I just called Roxanne 2 days ago, and I said, I just heard from this guy. I haven't heard from him, in 5 years. He's got a project that sounds pretty interesting. They're going to come out of the woodwork, because what's happened is the major labels absolutely are semi-clueless. They're still in the ballgame, but their successes come from the independent world. It's the independent producers, the independent labels that make the big labels successful. The only thing they do now is distribute.
That's right.
Okay, so distribute us. Yes, we are. Okay, Dunsky, we're done. Okay, we're moving forward. I'll let you know when we have our first projects. I'll let you know what you're going to be able to have and what you're not going to be able to have. So again, we're going to be very pragmatic in what we do. There's going to be no, rushing to judgment or rushing stuff out just to get it out. It's all going to be released and worked as we see fit. And I think that's the only way we can protect the value and protect the company and protect the stockholders and protect everybody and to protect my butt. So there we go. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely, and the part that's amazing, and probably for another show, I know as you get ready to do the projects and certain things, and you create the revenue stream based off of, say 10 to 20 titles, that exponentially in the library is something that is leverable. You can leverage that in the business world, of course, because it holds an asset value. You potentially could be talking astronomical numbers. I mean, just from a business side of it, it's quite amazing, and I'm really look forward to see what you guys do. Well, I would like to thank both of you for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us. It's been exceptional and very nice to meet you there, Mr. Deontay. And Rox, as always, it's always great to have you on the radio show. And I wish you all the luck, and we'll be watching what MPIX does.
Thanks, guys. Stay tuned.
It'll
Absolutely.
Be fun. It'll be fun. And next time we talk, just call me Denny. It's good.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good evening.
Have a nice evening. Good night, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was Miss Roxanna Weber and Mr. Denny Deontay of MPIX Inc., stock ticker MPIX. 90 seconds there, Mr. STT. Huge stuff, man.
Oh, yeah. Lots of coming. And I like, she said it early on that, she had just too much to do by herself, and bringing him on is going to be a great help, I'm sure. Confirmation of the library and the catalog. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. All right. Don't forget to catch the morning show. If you missed any portion of tonight's show, you can listen to it in its entirety on Investors Hub, under videos, and then market commentary. Or you can listen to it on our website, StockTradersTalk.com. We'll be right there on the homepage. From all of us here at Stock Traders Talk to all of you out there, we're wishing you the best in all your trades, and may your portfolio always be green. Don't forget the morning show tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we are out. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show